and 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 Select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 Select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5 plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton Road Crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair today from 10 until 3. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on now. Get a big deal on a 2026 F-150 STX with black appearance package. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
11:02, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go pay them a visit. Grab a bag or two. Maybe you're hitting the golf course this weekend. You want to throw it in there with you for the ride. Go check them out. WilhaukBeefJerky.com. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, and Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Friday edition of the program. So you know what that means. Fed Up Friday. Anything you want to get off your chest, feel free. Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. You can also email us. Connor at sports1440.ca. Brandon at sports1440.ca. And Josh at sports1440.ca. Hello to those of you tuning in on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. It's at Sports 1440 AM. Also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, Instagram, all those places. Go check it out. Lots to get to here on the show today, of course. We've got NHL hockey tonight. Last night it was the Carolina Hurricanes taking a commanding 4-1 series lead over the Philadelphia Flyers in Philly. Montreal Canadiens tonight trying to even up their series with the Buffalo Sabres. You got the Golden Knights and Ducks from the pond down in Anaheim. That's a 7:30 start. So a full night of sports to get to when it comes to hockey. The Blue Jays, of course, kicking off a weekend set against the Angels. We'll have that one, I believe, for you here on Sports 1440. If I had my whiteboard, I could tell you for sure. In the association, 5 o'clock, Knicks and Sixers. New York up 2-0. And then at 7:30, the Spurs and Timberwolves. In Minnesota, the Timberwolves did their job. Went down to San Antonio, got one win. Now they go back to Minneapolis. Edwards versus Wemby. Should be a lot of fun. Duke, good afternoon. I think we also got PWHL. We got WNBA getting going tonight.
It's all happening.
There's a lot to get to. And you have a tea time, which apparently you have to leave early.
I don't have to leave early. That's just Kevin and Eddie trying to push my buttons a little bit. I'll have plenty. It's down in Leduc. I'll have plenty of time to get there at the conclusion of our program. Once we take our, well, not 23-hour break, I guess, 2.5 day break. I'm not worried about it.
Feels like they were kind of like grinding your gears today when I was tuning in.
No, Kevin and I were working on grinding Eddie's gears because we're playing match play today. So Kevin and I versus Eddie and SKS. Eddie, big, strong man, pro athlete, all the accolades you could dream of for an individual. comes the golf course, mental midget. So I fully expect to be inside his cranium, tearing him down, making him think about the best text of the morning was I can't remember, might have been Matt and Leduc maybe texted and said, Eddie, during your backswing, do you breathe in or do you breathe out? And it's just something small like that all of a sudden Eddie will crumble thinking about that every time he pulls his club back to hit a shot.
What do you do?
Well, that's a good question.
Don't breathe.
You don't think about it. Just hold your breath.
Literally never thought about it.
Hold your breath makes you stronger. I've never thought about it, but if you're bringing correlation over from other sports, look at what tennis players do, right? They're always releasing air when they hit the ball. That's where the loud noises come from a lot of time. Same goes for what I would learn when I learned how to throw a javelin or anything like that. It was always you're breathing in and then releasing as you release whatever you're throwing. So I have to think it'd be the same in golf club. You breathe in on your backswing, breathe out on your downswing. That's just a guess.
I think I just don't breathe. I think I take one big inhale and then swing, grip it and rip it. But I kind of like the chirp there. Makes you think. 1-833-401-1440. Now, my question for you quickly here. You do golf quite a bit. Are you hitting a bucket before? Do you hit the putting green or you just get out there?
Ideally, if I have the time, I don't mind hitting a small bucket, even if you don't need to hit them all, but just get a few strokes in, get the body loose. Definitely like to roll a few on the putting green before play. Maybe if it's a little chipping area, also get the wedges out and get a few strokes in. But today it's probably going to be I'm going to burn down there, get changed, get my golf shoes on, and then maybe the chance to roll a putt or two, and we'll be on the first tee.
Crack a bevy, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Maybe a hot dog. I'm going to be pretty hungry by the time 1 o'clock rolls around.
Nice. Last night, my apologies. If I said that the Canes won 4-1 the series, obviously it was just the game. They lead the series 3 games to none. You've got them, Duke. You've got the Colorado Avalanche, and you've got the OKC Thunder.
Who will lose first?
Who's going to lose first? The Thunder, I feel like, can just roll with this one for a little while. It's almost going to come down to schedule and when do they play their next round. I think the Avs would be most likely, Duke. Maybe the Flyers force a game 5. I think the Canes are too good for them.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
It's funny. I said I can see the Hurricanes going 10-0 before they lose a game. And that would, in theory, probably come with a week or more off if we expect the Buffalo-Montreal series, which, by the way, will only play game 2 tonight. Carolina and Philly will go for game 4 tomorrow. I think they'll sweep there, and whoever they play after a week plus off, I think they could easily take the first 2, which they have guaranteed home ice regardless of opponent. It's a pretty rockin' barn down in Raleigh when they get the siren going. So, yeah, I definitely think Colorado to lose first, but it might be a little bit tougher to dictate out of Hurricanes or Thunder who takes the L column before the other.
Now, in that game, Taylor Hall had a bit of a little controversy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. I saw people saying he left his feet. That was after the impact, so that's not leaving your feet to make a hit. The player was down on a knee, so I could see why Philly fans might have said, you could hold up a little bit. The result didn't look good. What were your thoughts on that hit?
Yeah. You kind of basically... I would agree. Situation matters. It's definitely a penalty, no doubt about it. But I've really enjoyed this institution by the NHL of the new rule where calling it a 5 or a double minor or whatever on the ice, and you have the ability to review it and maybe downgrade it to just a minor. I think that was the appropriate thing to do here.
I'm with you. I know Flyers fans hated it. Taylor Hall will be public enemy number 1 when they go at it for game 4, but I thought the 2 minutes was fine. It's a tough situation. He didn't leave his feet. It was contact, and then his feet came off the ice. That's when we're talking leaving your feet. That's like jumping up to throw the elbow or the shoulder or whatever it might be. 2 minutes for sure. I won't say I loved the hit by Hall, but it's playoff hockey. That's what they're going out there to do. They're playing high intensity. It's so easy to watch it in slow motion and say, "Oh, he should have held up." That game's not played in slow motion. Taylor Hall doesn't have this freaky ability to slow things down in his mind. He's not Spider-Man. It's just, it is what it is. 2 minutes was worth it. And, hey, Flyers, make them pay. Make them pay on those opportunities when you get the chance.
Well, that's exactly, even if they've gotten a 5-minute power play based on the man advantage went for Philly the rest of the night, and for most part this series, But if it made a difference, they've been that Hurricanes penalty kill. We know it's perennially one of the very best in the entirety of the NHL. It's Rod Brindamore's bread and butter going back to his own playing days. So the Flyers power play has not looked particularly effective. They had some looks for sure, a couple close calls. I don't know if a 5-minute power play would have done them much good, because the Hurricanes look about as well-oiled a machine as any club across the entirety of the playoffs right now.
I would agree with you. Now, I'm like the next series, whether it be Buffalo or Montreal, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's when the test comes, I think. But they look really, really smooth. Some other news today: NFL referees agreeing on a 7-year CBA. That's good. So with that, avoids work stoppage. So we don't need to see the replacement refs.
Replacement refs. Get them back out there.
Which I think we all can agree we don't need to see that. And then the other news I want to probably go for the rest of the segment with, Duke, the Hart Memorial Trophy, McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov. This was the obvious one. Like, this is no surprise at all. And if we're being adults here and having a conversation, I will listen to an argument for all three of these players. Like, you can tell me Kucherov, look what he did, to get his team back into the hunt, or McKinnon was amazing throughout the entirety of the season. Connor McDavid elevating his game down the stretch, and then with Leon Draisaitl going down. All these teams now, there are going to be people that are saying, well, one of these guys is left in the playoffs. Voting's done beforehand. It's a regular season award. But Duke, I honestly, give me any of these players, and I think they got it right. Like, I'm going to side with whatever the majority of the voters go for here, and I won't be crying foul play.
Yeah, and I think this was a large consensus, and I'm right there with you in the thought process of any one of these guys could win. They all deserve to win. It's been a great year for a number of awards in terms of the competitive level. There's no runaway in really any category. I will add in the notion, like, we got the finals for the Ted Lindsay Award last week, earlier this week, whenever it was, right? And we saw the inclusion of Macklin Celebrini on that list and Nathan McKinnon not being on it. So for those that aren't familiar, right, they're voted on by different people. And I think even more importantly, the definition of the award is drastically different. For the Ted Lindsay, it's voted on by the players themselves, members of the Players Association. And it is for just the most outstanding player, your MOP, right? The Hart Trophy is the player judged most valuable to their team. And it's a little bit of an odd way around of saying, but it is kind of just the MVP of the league. And that is voted on, as many of the awards are, by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. So different definitions. And I think it matters in the inclusion of Celebrini, whose season was exceptional, unbelievable. You look at what he accomplished on this Sharks team, where a lot of players took big steps forward. Will Smith, William Eklund, Tyler Toffoli continues to chip in. But like the gap between him and the next leading scorer on the team was massive. And they end up missing the playoffs by just a couple points. Had the Sharks made it, there would have been a very strong case for Macklin Celebrini to be on. And I'm sure he's still on plenty of people's Hart Trophy ballots, but to be a top 3 finalist and a potential to win it, how value, if you're not on the team misses the playoffs anyway, you're on it, you still miss the playoffs. Listen, it's a lot of semantics at times. If I had to predict, I do think Connor McDavid will win the Hart Trophy again this season, but there's certainly a case to be made using metrics, using eye test, statistics, 5-on-5 power play, down the list, for why Kucherov or McKinnon could garner a lot of votes as well.
Even if the San Jose Sharks do squeak into that final 8th spot, Duke, is Macklin Celebrini's 115 points? Like, obviously, we know the differential between he and, was it Will Smith, second on the team in scoring? Do you think he would have supplanted any of these three?
Yeah, I do. I think if they'd got in, I think he probably would have been in over. Probably McKinnon.
Yeah.
Just because the Avalanche were such a more complete top to bottom team. Yeah, he's their leading scorer, both points, goals, etc. And it's almost, you consider, kind of a down year for Cale Makar, even though still ended up a finalist for the Norris Trophy. Yeah, it's hard to say. And he asked me on a different day, maybe I'd say something different. But my personal Hart ballot had McKinnon in 3rd. And so as a result, if Mike Celebrini had made the playoffs, he's a natural choice to succeed him into that spot.
I think you and I might have had that the same, but you had Kucherov as no, you were McDavid, weren't you?
I was McDavid first, yeah. Kucherov second.
Yeah, as was I. And it's crazy because I just finished saying, like, any of these guys could be MVP. And then at the same time, well, if they make the playoffs, you have to give the respect to Celebrini for what he did. unbelievable season for he, and going forward, he'll be a threat no matter what. And that Sharks team is going to be fun to see, especially getting that second overall pick in the upcoming entry draft. MTR says, look at McKinnon's even strength points. Yeah.
So that's
a thing.
It does matter.
He had 97, 5 more than Cooch, 15 more than McDavid.
So even strength points count different than power play points?
No.
And is it McDavid or Kucherov's fault that the Avalanche power play, for all their talent, was like surprisingly and shockingly poor? I just have a hard time. It's good to look at all these different metrics and where they stack up compared to their peers. But I also don't think that gives him some huge edge that all of a sudden, just because he put the puck in the net at 5-on-5 more than the two counterparts. And by Kucherov, what'd you say, it was 5 more? 5-on-5
more,
points?
yes.
It's not exactly a landslide. So it's
in 4 more games.
It comes across as a knock on McKinnon, but it's not. It's more so just not a knock. Like, credit to him, but that's not a knock on McDavid and Kucherov that they were just more lethal in the power play.
Yeah. I mean, for how long did we hear McDavid Draisaitl power play merchants?
Right?
Okay, so they should just not be as good on the power play then?
Yeah.
It's easier to get points, undoubtedly, but it's still an accomplishment. You're still doing it. You're still doing it at a historic level for those guys. Sometimes I wonder if the refs put the whistle away at times because the power play was just too good. Richard had texted in, thought it was a dirty hit for Taylor Hall. I can see it. I mean, hey, I saw people throw the picture of Hall's feet in the air, driving the head into the boards. You see that shot. It's pretty tough. But again, I go by what I see. Players down. The feet came off the ice after contact. A penalty for sure. But I was good with the 2 minutes. Nikki Northside says, I have a hard time believing Celebrini doesn't make it in the top 3 voting without making the playoffs when he scored 115 points and his next closest teammate was only 59. How is that not a clear indicator of being MVP? You got a good point.
It's once again, this is one of those things where maybe you just need that one player to get over that hump to buck the trend. But Connor, off the top of your head, can you tell me the last player to win MVP and not make the playoffs?
No.
I think the closest would have been Taylor Hall when he won his MVP with Jersey, right? Down the stretch when the Devils were kind of scratching and clawing to see if they were going to get in, that was the big discussion. It's like, can Taylor Hall win MVP if the Devils don't get in? They did. He did. I'd have to do some looking. Every other award, people can use the merit, like the Norris Trophy, I suppose the Ted Lindsay to an extent, although it's the players voting on it. The Vezina's voted on by NHL GMs. But do they take that into account for the best goaltender? Does making the playoffs matter as much for all these other awards? I don't think it does. Because adjudicating just the best at a position as opposed to most valuable across the league, it's just so murky and it's so subjective. It really does come down to each their own.
So 3 players have won the Hart without making the playoffs. Mario Lemieux in 1988. I just want to see, how far back can we scroll in the NHL statistics to see what he did that year? 1988. Get stats. Of course, it takes you to the playoffs, which not what
doesn't
I want.
exist because he didn't make it.
Lemieux, 168 points he had that year. Wayne Gretzky had 149, but he didn't make the playoffs. So you had Savard, Howard Chuck, Stastny, Messier, all in the conversation. So then you go back to 1959. Do you think NHL.com goes back that far?
Sure.
It does.
I know NHL.com, you can pick to view stats from defunct teams, like ones that don't even exist.
Andy Bathgate won for the Rangers, and he finished 3rd in points. Dickie Moore had 96, John Beliveau had 91, Bathgate had 88, but won the Hart. And then it was just 5 years before that, Al Rollins with the Chicago Blackhawks. 1954. Get stats. 53, 54. Rollins. Do you know this player, Duke?
No. I ran out when you said Andy Bathgate. I'm like, I know that name.
Al Rollins. Okay, so he was a goaltender. So statistics not in his favor. Gordie Howe led the league in points that year with 81. Maurice Richard, 67. Ted Lindsay at 62. If we go to goaltenders, do you think this is going to be a statistical crazy year?
What was the year?
1954.
No, I don't.
Al Rollins. He was 6th in goals against average with a 3.21. He was tied for first with save percentage because they didn't count it, apparently. And he had 5 shutouts. Harry Lumley had 13. Terry Sawchuk had 12. How did Al Rollins win MVP?
We'll have to ask Low Tide.
We need a hockey historian. Rollins actually played for the Edmonton Flyers for a couple of years. Then won a cup with the Maple Leafs in 1950. Does appear... I might have to do some more research on this one, Duke. This doesn't seem right.
You don't think it's true?
Well, 53-54, he was a goalie for a very weak team, one largely due to his high workload and media sympathy. He went 12-47-7 and won MVP. So there you go. That's crazy. That's like, who's the word? Like, if Thatcher Demko was a good goalie on the Canucks this year, winning MVP, just because he played on a bad team. Wild to me. We'll have to get some more information from Low Tide when he rolls in here. It is Fantasy Frenzy. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more of your texts. 1-833-401-1440, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
In Alberta, every family has a baseball game day tradition for the summer.
We always bring our gloves to the ballpark. We always keep score.
We always bring Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Some things change, but the best home run snack never does.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Whether you're watching from your recliner or the stands, make it a part of your summer ball game tradition.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
When my husband and I said until death do us part, I never expected to find myself at the doorstep of divorce. I was facing an uncertain financial future, expensive lawyer bills, and most importantly, I was concerned for the well-being of my kids. My spouse and I turned to Fairway Divorce Solutions for help. Fairway walked us through a step-by-step process, allowing us to develop a clear roadmap to resolve financial concerns and provide a proactive co-parenting strategy. It helped us avoid chaos and courtrooms.
For a no-cost consultation, visit fairwaydivorce.com.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Contractors, spring cleanup is coming. It's time to get your lawnmowers, aerators, power rakes, lawn vacs, and more serviced at the Lawnmower Hospital. Hey, the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait in line later. Their service department gets crazy busy as the season rolls on, so get in now while it's calm. For quick service on top brands like Bluebird, Ryan Turf, Husqvarna, and more, check out lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
If you're passionate about golf, you probably already know, and you've been waiting. The Quarry is now open, and all 27 holes are in great shape. Book now, get geared up at the Pro Shop, and start swinging at the Quarry. Don't forget about the Granite Grill Restaurant, an unforgettable top-tier venue to host all your events. For rental details or to book your tee time, contact the Quarry today. Edmonton's most popular golf and event venue. Call 477-THE-Q and visit thequarryedmonton.com.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:25. Welcome back. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Thanks for joining us today. We've got lots of text rolling in here. This segment is for elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth WE football coverage online. elksnation.ca, not Willhawk. Well, both are good. Eat some Willhawk. Read up at elksnation.ca. Great way to spend a Friday night. Duke, tonight the Toronto Tempo kick off their season. I hate the name, that's why I read. But you know what? Win one is not coming tonight. They got Lauren Betts and the Mystics.
Are the Mystics a wagon?
The Mystics are a future wagon.
Okay.
Lauren Betts at center. You've heard me talk about her. 6'7".
Beast.
That might be the next jersey I buy. She's going to run the show tonight. And then I wish them, the Tempo good luck after that. But as a new Mystics fan, I think that Toronto is in a lot of trouble.
So you didn't automatically just latch on to the Tempo as your new favorite WNBA team because of their Canadian connection?
No, of course not.
But you've bounced around to a few, like, you don't exactly have undying loyalty to one club.
No,
You've bounced around quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got enough undying loyalty in other leagues. This time, I just want to find a team I can learn to like. I don't like rooting for a Washington franchise, to be honest with you. Like, I can't say I love any of them. But Ovi's there, and I kind of made the promise to myself. Wherever Lauren Betts was drafted was the team I'm going to cheer for.
All right.
Just tells me she's going to be good. She was the 4th overall pick, UCLA national champion. That's my team. Go Mystics. Into the inbox, 1-833-401-1440. Al Rollins had one leg, one arm, one eye. Nickname Lucky. Well, that would make sense if he won the Hart for all he had overcome. I don't think that's the case. If Hall had laid that hit on Draisaitl, the rest wouldn't even consider a penalty. Blair remembers the past. Yeah, Draisaitl was hitting from behind. Didn't quite go in as hard or as drastically. But no call at all. Sasha says, hey guys, if the Hart Trophy is in fact for the player most valuable to his team, I can't think of any single player more valuable to his team than Celebrini. The Sharks would be a bottom feeder without his production. Hard to disagree, really. Like, he was so dang good, and the point differential between his next teammate. But it just kind of seems to be the code, obviously, that unless you make the playoffs, you don't really get in there. And it's too bad. Celebrini had a heck of a year. Obviously, doesn't get into this conversation, but he's in the Lindsay, so maybe he'll get his flowers. But he's going to be in the conversation for a long time, I would think. Best player on that team, face of the franchise. And this is just the beginning, and his team is going to get better around him. I mean, hey, they were fighting for a playoff spot. So I do kind of feel bad that a couple points, a couple team wins or losses is the differential there. But Sash, I think you bring up a good point. But just knowing the way the votes go, we kind of knew he wasn't going to finish top 3. Brad the driver says, guys, I disagree with you. That Taylor Hall hit should have been 5 minutes. When is the NHL going to do more to take out headshots? Only a league that doesn't protect their players to the extent they should. Now, like, Duke, what do you think? Because my first thought is do we take the headshot as serious when the player is down on a knee? Because I kind of see it both ways. Like, one, well, it's not a high hit. But if a player is in a vulnerable position, do you need to make that hit?
Well, then that's kind of always the question that emerges from this spot of, like I said, it's not like he was head hunting. The guy's at sort of, and it depends on what replay you watch. Because actually during the break, I went back and watched a couple more as well. And when you watch it in the slow down, I'm not talking slow motion, but just slowed down, it seems like after Sanheim drops to the knee, Hall has time to pull out of the hit. Now, what does pulling out of the hit look like? Do you expect a guy to fully bail and just like send himself headfirst into the boards to avoid hitting? Like, no. Does he still lean into it a little bit? Yeah, he does. And that's where I think the 2-minute minor penalty is still appropriate. Like, he still engages contact there. When you watch it at real speed, it happens much faster where like he's clearly lining Sanheim up to try and get a lick on him. It's the playoffs. Almost every player is going into contact with that approach. Sanheim goes down. Hall's kind of already dropped that shoulder drop ready. Yeah, he probably does follow through on it more than he needs to. As a result, it's a penalty. I don't think a major penalty, like the egregiousness of the hit doesn't shine through there because of the spot the receiving player Sanheim unintentionally puts himself in by kind of dropping down to his knees.
Sanheim wasn't happy after, obviously. Can't blame him for that one. Down 3-0 though. I mean, if this game gets out of hand, I could see players going after Taylor Hall. As long as it's competitive, you probably don't because you still want to get your way back into the series. That's the best way to win. But Taylor Hall's been really good in this playoffs. 7 games, 9 points, 3 goals. Throwing his hits around. This isn't the first series where he's ruffled a few feathers on the opposing fan base. So Carolina Hurricanes fans must be absolutely loving it. Husk says, guys, I was definitely tied to the tempo once it was announced. Go Canada. Yeah, they've got the connections. I'm not rooting up against them by any means. I'm not going to be like, I think there's some people that just have to go against the grain all the time. And it's like, oh, Canadian team, I'm going to hate them. Oh, the Raptors, I hate them. The Leafs, I hate them. Not so much the Leafs. There's more Canadian teams. But the Blue Jays. I just am a Washington fan now. And I will hope for the best for the tempo. Just, I don't like the team name. Don't like the colors. I feel like they could have done a lot better. Speaking of Celebrini, he is going to be at the World Championships with Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse. It's a little more star power there. Duke, I know your Ducks aren't there. And I think we touched on this in the past, but does this do anything for you with a guy like Celebrini going?
Not really.
Once again, because he was there last year with Crosby, right?
It's kind of more so like we talked about earlier in the week. When they're on at times that's conducive to watching, and in this case, the games will be on while we're in studio here from 6 o'clock through middle of the day, it being over in Switzerland. Yeah, I'll absolutely watch. Will I go out of my way to watch? No, that I won't. And that's not something that's changed for me because growing up a Ducks fan, it was like, oh, these players are there. I have to sit down and watch them. No, it's kind of just, to me, it's a secondary tournament. Once it gets into the medal rounds, I would be more inclined to go out of my way to watch, as anytime Team Canada's chasing down a medal and a championship, you're naturally more invested in it. But in the meantime, I'll watch it when it's on in front of me, and that might be it.
Just some other news and notes from around the NHL. Mikko Rantanen finished the season with the Stars. Torn ACL. Pretty serious. The team wants to get back Jamie Benn, their captain. I mean, he played this year for $1 million, so if he wants to be back, he'll be back. I want to ask you, dude, what do you think the future holds for Jason Robertson? He's an RFA, but for only 1 more year. Then he gets his UFA status. Do you think he's back long-term with the Stars? Do you think it's a 1-year deal on his end? Like, how do you think this situation plays out? Because they've got a lot of money wrapped up in Rantanen, Rupe Hintz, Wyatt Johnson. Matt Duchene's got 4.5 for the next couple of years here. On the back end, you've got Heiskanen, Lindell, Thomas Harley. I mean, they've got some big deals. Then Ottinger, of course, 8.25. Like, at a certain point, even with the cap going up, I'm wondering what the cost would be. And does Robertson maybe want to try his luck elsewhere?
I think he would want to stay. And obviously the Stars would want to keep him. But because of all those names you just listed out and the contracts that they've doled out, it becomes difficult, right? Now, they do have some money coming off the books. Michael Bunting's $4.5 million. The big lingering one is Tyler Seguin, right? Because if you can essentially just take Sagan's money out and replace it with Robertson, when you combine about Sagan's money, the raise Robertson's going to get from his current 7.75, well, yeah, that money is pretty easily found, even with some of the other guys ticking up this season. The deal for Ben, a new deal for Maverick Bourque, down the list. is Tyler Seguin going to play again? Right? Like this is he's an ACL tear. And if he's going to play again, will it be for Dallas? I could see him being an LTIR candidate, or they find a way to trade him. Now, full no movement clause. It would be up to him. 1 year left. Talk about he won a Stanley Cup as a rookie with Boston, played a little bit of a fringe role in that team. In terms of like chasing championship, pretty hard to see a spot much better than Dallas. I don't know. It puts the Stars in a tough spot, but I think it boils down to like Jim Nill's a smart guy, one of the best GMs in the league, several-time winner of the best as voted on. You find a way to keep Robertson in the fold. He led the team in points and scoring and goals this past year. Yes, that was with several guys missing time due to injury, but he's a really good player that brings a lot of different elements to the game, scoring, a little bit of size, and he added some more physicality to his repertoire this season too. You can't let him leave, even in the form of a trade and what you might net in return. I think you got to keep him around pretty much regardless of price, unless it gets way, way beyond what's reasonable.
He's so good. And that's Seguin. That's a good point by you. Like, if you just get through that 1 year. Now, I was looking it up just for fun. Tyler Seguin, to buy him out, it does you no good this year or next year. You save $333,000, and then you have to pay that the following year, which again, not very much in terms of NHL, but LTIR, I guess, like you said, that could be an option.
Or do you go to Robertson's camp and say, hey, we want you here a long time. It's always tough because injuries happen and whatever, but do you say, will you sign a 1 year deal at $8 million or just a raise from where you are, $10 million even, and then say, all right, next summer we'll revisit and we can give you your $12 to $13 million 7-year, 8-year deal that you absolutely deserve? Because it's kind of where you don't see RFAs at 26 years old very often, but that is the spot that Robertson's in. So he holds some negotiating power, of course, arbitration eligible, but it's at least the Stars have that tiny card up their sleeve to wield if necessary.
Projected cap for the Stars next year are $92.89 million. The salary cap's going to be $95.5. So we'll see. The Edmonton Oilers, like when you look at it, kind of middle of the pack, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Projected cap is 87. Quick math tells me that's just under $8 million in cap space. Teams working with the most. How about your Ducks, Duke? Projected $63 million.
That does not include new deals for, I think, quite a few players and in half of a decor. So,
yeah.
Listen, the money disappears pretty quickly, especially when you've got a pool of lottery picks that are all coming up for new deals at and around the same time.
San Jose Sharks, similar situation where we talked about it yesterday or the day before, where they essentially have to sign their entire blue line and they've got some players that are going to get paid. The Penguins also have a lot of cap space. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. For those curious, the Avalanche, Golden Knights projected to be over the cap next year.
That's not good.
Avs at 101 mil, Golden Knights at 99, with the Montreal Canadiens at 94, just a hair under. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to more text, let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown Flow Tide and the Jason Gregor Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, I'm Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC.
No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Everybody loves a beautiful day in Edmonton. Hey, it's Jamie, and Green Drop Lawn Care is giving you one more reason to love the nice weather. Next nice day service. People always ask, how soon can Green Drop get here? Well, when you sign up with Next Nice Day service, we'll be there by tomorrow. Assuming Mother Nature cooperates, we'll be fertilizing and treating your weeds by the very next day. We'll even include drought fighter at no additional cost. Just another reason we have been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Easy online signups only at greendrop.com.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton Road Crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair today from 10 until 3. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:41. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Connor, Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here in the Sports 1440 studio. Coming up next, it will be the Lowdown with Low Tide. They'll be joined by Steve Lansky, a.k.a. Big Mouth Sports. They're going to talk a little bit about the Oilers' off-season potential coaching or GM changes. So make sure you keep it locked here on Sports 1440. We'll have the Jason Gregor Show from 2 till 6 as well. Justin Rankin, running back for the Edmonton Elks, will join us. We got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Hopefully head out to Buffalo and Anaheim. Craig Button from the NHL and TSN. Stat of the day, Spec, Low Tide, and Wanye's World. So make sure you keep it locked here on Sports 1440 throughout the rest of your day. And then tonight, how about some Blue Jays baseball for you on the AM stream only. Tomorrow morning, Saturday Sports Setup at 9 a.m., followed by Hoop City with Paul Sir and Josh Fenwick. So lots going on here. We did get a text here. No name. Hey, guys, just want to get your thoughts on the top fantasy quarterbacks going into next season. So, Duke, yesterday we got a chance to talk a little bit about the rookie running backs and receivers. Quarterback's always a fun position because for years, I always had a couple of friends who were like, yeah, you guys can have like the top guys. I'll just get somebody who I know is going to produce. So, like for a long time, Ben Roethlisberger would put up a ton of yards, but wasn't the sexy pick. I'm looking at power rankings from ESPN for fantasy. They've got Matthew Stafford, defending MVP, at 15. The highest rank, I believe, was we got here. Mike Clay had him at 12. Number one, unanimous essentially, was Josh Allen, followed by Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels coming off injury, Drake May, Jalen Hurts. So outside of that, quarterbacks I think you could win with, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy if they stay healthy, Dak Prescott. Mahomes is outside the top 10, as is Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Tyler Shuck. So if I were to ask you your top 5, are you rocking with Jaden Daniels and Drake May as well?
No, I'm not. And it's not a knock on them, like Drake May, especially with the expected acquisition of A.J. Brown come July 1. It gives him a bona fide number one receiving weapon, which he hasn't really had up to this point. And the Patriots continue to get better now. Some offseason drama has put some clouds around their coming off the Super Bowl where they obviously lost to the Seahawks. But listen, Drake May continues to expect it to be getting better. another addition to their offensive line? Do you continue to shore up? Will Campbell get better over on the left side? There's lots of positives. And for Jaden Daniels, I mean, this is a guy that in his rookie season was in consideration for the MVP and went to an NFC championship game. Now, ditto, the rest of that roster is so poor, or had been so poor. There's not really much, nowhere else to go but up, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But if I was drafting, and we've said this for several years now, Connor, I'm a big believer in, yeah, you can take your quarterback, even in a super flex league where there's one, and quarterbacks are much more likely to go in the first round. I'm good to hold back and grab some guys in the middle to end of it where I just think I don't need them to be my superstars. I'll leave that in the hands of my running backs and receivers. Like where is a guy like Caleb Williams going to go in the grand pecking order? That when you're playing with Ben Johnson's offense and the accumulation of weapons they have there, yes, DJ Moore is elsewhere now, but he hadn't been the biggest factor with this group for the past few seasons. I think Caleb Williams has a ton of upside as a runner as well. And then, hey, can your boy Justin Herbert stop being the if or the maybe? And
that's postseason only.
We know the production regular season has been there more often than not. Also, growth under the system, and a guy like Mike McDaniel, man, it's pretty enticing to go after someone like that. So the names that are going to be first off the board, absolutely, Allen, Jackson, even Burrow, Jalen Hurts with the new OC in Philly. Can he return to the super productive form we've seen in the past? But I'm always a little bit more keen to stick in the middle of the pack, and guys like Brock Purdy. If Matthew Stafford's available, I'd be chomping at the bit to add him even at his age and maybe a little more injury prone. But Caleb Williams, I think, is going to be a guy I really target in my leagues this year.
Yeah, they have him at 9. Like some players have him ranked as high, or some of the analysts as high as 7.
I'm looking at Fantasy Pros. Jackson Dart at 8 at the bottom of tier number 2, ahead of the likes of Williams, Prescott, Purdy, Mahomes, Stafford. That's crazy to me.
Well, he showed the flashes, right? It's like they're like betting on everything to go well.
Yeah, I have more concern about Jackson Dart staying on the field than I would 40-year-old Matt Stafford.
I mean, Matthew Stafford, all he's got to do is get over the back pain, and then he'll find a way.
His back hurts.
His back, yeah, he's older. That's just life. I'm with you. You talked about Herbert there, and like he's a guy I would be happy to roll with if you're in a 10-team league and all these top 10 guys are gone. If you gave me like Herbert and then I grab Stafford, like maybe not Baker Mayfield, he kind of let me down last year, but even like Kyler Murray's a guy I'm kind of intrigued by for fantasy purposes.
If
he'll run around out there.
Do we think is a foregone conclusion he'll win the starting job?
Kind of leaning that way.
Yeah,
I think so. We know the Vikings and the way they're able to turn around quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, if the Chargers offensive line stays healthy, new OC, I like it. I like Kyler Murray in that offense with the weapons that he has. He might take like a long shot on Tyler Shuck. Who knows? Good. Kellen Moore is a good coach, good offensive mind. Now, Josh Allen, is he your consensus number 1? Because for the ESPN, everybody except Moody had him at number 1. Moody had him at number 2. They bring in DJ Moore this offseason. Josh Palmer returns. Khalil Shakir. You got Keon Coleman, who's going to be fighting for field time, it looks like, despite being an early second-round pick. They drafted Skylar Bell. They've got McCole Hardman there as well. Like, they've got a lot of options at the receiver spot. Not that stud, though.
And James Cook's an exceptional pass catcher. So it might all be yards after the catch, but they count the same in the quarterback stack column and ditto for touchdown passes. So to me, Josh Allen's the number 1 guy. The Bills, they make a coaching change, but they stay in-house with the promotion. So there's not a whole lot of new system to all of a sudden have to integrate and learn, which would be the case for a guy like Lamar Jackson, most likely, right? With a whole new staff in place there. And Lamar, like all factors considered, he has not been as reliable staying on the field in his career as someone like Josh Allen has. So if you put those two guys in the same tier, I'll lean towards Allen more often than not.
I'm with you. Obviously, if you have Lamar Jackson, you're probably not freaking out or anything. Like, it's a pretty good spot to be in.
And Baltimore still does not have a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. Zay Flowers is great, but is he better than DJ Moore? I'm not convinced that he is.
I put him in a similar category.
I think they'd be in a very close tier if we're grouping guys, but that's a big advantage that someone like Drake May has with the addition of AJ Brown, as long as he stays happy.
I kind of feel like the key to the Ravens' success is the run game. Derrick Henry, that's a fun conversation, but Justice Hill looked okay last year. They got Vega, the offensive guard out of Penn State, so kind of a guy who's mean in the trenches. The offensive coordinator is Declan Doyle. He comes over from the Chicago Bears. Spent 1 year as the OC there.
An OC that isn't calling plays.
Yeah. Now he will be,
It's
though.
a bold promotion.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he probably was doing installs and all those sorts of things. Ben Johnson, obviously the guru, so he was handling most of it, but we'll see. He's getting an opportunity under Jesse Minter. We'll find out. They also had, as we mentioned, Drake May pretty high up there. Jaden Daniels, he's got to stay healthy, man. His first year, he kind of dispelled what I was thinking, but then I went back to pre-draft talk. Man, he takes some hellacious hits. Like when he gets hit, he yard sale. He blows up. Joe Burrow is another one. Like if you got him, he's rated 6 here. Just with his weapons alone and what Jamar Chase can do after the catch, you like that. Those late season games, the weather's going to be a factor, especially his divisional games, but I like it. I'm into it. How about Mahomes for you quickly? Because Mahomes for years was that guy you first off the board all the time. Travis Kelce's dropped off a little bit. He lost Tyreek Hill. They're trying to occasionally, it seems like, find him his next Tyreek Hill. He's the other guy. Like if I had him combined with someone else and kind of go week to week based on matchups, I don't hate it.
You could obviously do a lot worse. He's still among the most talented quarterbacks, especially from a pure passing perspective. And he's had to run more for the past couple of seasons, usually out of, not in design formation, obviously, but in scrambles because the receiver and the receiving core have not been as good. They can't get open as much. You bring in a expected legitimate RB1 in Kenneth Walker. Hopefully that takes some of the pressure off as well. But Rashee Rice, full season, hopefully healthy. Xavier Worthy showed some pretty good flashes at times. And they still, like you said, they drafted some more guys to try and come in too. I wouldn't be jumping to bring Mahomes in, but like you said, if all of a sudden he's kind of almost in a little bit of a platoon spot for you, that it's a week to week matchup based decision with someone like Jared Goff or Matt Stafford, if he were to actually fall that far in your league, yeah, you'd be in a pretty good spot.
Do you remember when Rashee Rice returned to the league last year and he just getting popped by like every team?
Yeah.
I hope it continues. I don't know how he's even playing, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, we dove into that pretty extensively when he came back last year. Like what was the sentence? 30 days in jail and a four-game suspension from the NFL.
You choose when.
Yeah. By the way, you can go to jail whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's at your leisure.
6 games.
6 games.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then it might have been a bye. I think he came back after the week 8. I think. MTR says Jared Goff sneaky as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And like that's it. Like he's smart with the ball. He doesn't turn it over, and he's got guys who make plays after the catch. As a 40-year-old named Matt, I can tell you that back pain is no joke. Matt Leduc. You get it. Boys, have you ever heard of a ERA of 135? Johan Ramirez in my pool currently sits the number for me. That had to be a short, horrendous performance.
Yeah. maybe
wasn't even that bad after week 1.
Maybe a couple of them stacked up where you don't even get out of the first inning and you get popped for like 8.
I was like, does he mean 1.35?
No, just 135 ERA. That's tough.
Oh, it's not good.
Tough. That's like a guy that would play on Fantasy Frenzy's baseball team this year. Tough sledding for the group.
Can we bring him in? That music means we are done. Thank you guys for joining us this week. Have a terrific weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday morning. Dude, have a good round this afternoon. Hopefully you'll show them a thing or two. Coming up next, Lowdown Flow Tide, followed by the Jason Greger Show. But first, a Sports 1440 update with Brandon Douglas, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup playoff action tonight. Montreal and the Sabres go at it from Western New York. Buffalo with a 1-0 series lead. Puck drop coming just after 5 o'clock. In the nightcap, 7:30 puck drop between the Golden Knights and Ducks from Southern California. That series knotted at 1 game apiece. Off the ice, finalists for this year's Hart Memorial Trophy as the league's MVP have been announced. Edmonton's Connor McDavid, Colorado's Nathan McKinnon, and Nikita Kucherov of Tampa Bay, all former winners, all looking to add to their trophy case this season. Team Canada finalizing its roster for the upcoming World Championships in Switzerland. Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse will represent the Oilers, while other notable additions to the team include Macklin Celebrini, Dylan Holloway, Mark Scheifele, John Tavares, and Morgan Riley. PWHL playoffs continuing tonight. Boston is in Ottawa against the Charge, and Montreal taking on the Frost from Minnesota. NBA playoffs. Sixers hosting New York for game number 3. The Knicks up 2-0 there. Tip-off at 5 o'clock from the Xfinity Center. And Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the San Antonio Spurs. That series tied at 1 game apiece. WNBA 2026 season getting underway tonight. Toronto Temple will play their inaugural game at home against the Washington Mystics. Tip-off at 5:30. Elsewhere in New York hosting Connecticut. Golden State is in Seattle. And in the majors, full slate of games today, including the Toronto Blue Jays opening a set against the Los Angeles Angels. First pitch just after 5 o'clock from downtown Toronto. Dylan Cease on the bump for the Bluebirds. You can catch that game right here on Sports 1440, joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide.